Hi, good afternoon, and welcome once again to Mike's Laboratory. I'd like to say happy Easter to everyone. He is risen, and we are all forgiven. Excellent. Thank you, Lord. It is much appreciated. Anyway, today's video is going to be a rebuild of the modern talkers boxes that I showed off before. I'm going to use some Cotswold parts. We're going to make a whole figure out of the torso and talk unit that I showed off in that video. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing. I'd like to thank everyone for the likes and for watching. It's much appreciated. So anyhow, without further ado, we're going to flip the camera around and we'll dig right into this project, and then I have a little commentary on a couple other things at the end of the video. All right? Okay. So bear with me for a sec. I'll be right back and we'll get right down to it. Okay. As you can see out here on the workbench, we have our stuff laid out. We have a disassembled Cots body. Obviously the torso over here we won't be using. We have this is the pilot talker torso. And you can see over here we have a couple rivets and some Cotswold shoulder cup pieces. I've shown these before and how to install them. Also the neck. We're going to put the talker disc in there. When I was checking out this box in the last video, you might recall I checked it out and it looked to me like the pieces from just standard talker parts will fit right in there and worked pretty well. Alright, as a preliminary, to make things quicker, what I've done is I already cut out a piece of elastic for the legs and attached it to one of the legs. I'm using the standard length that I use for vintage talkers. It looks like it'll work about right. We'll see. If necessary, I'll shorten her up or get a longer one. And where else was I going to go here? Oh, and I've also, if you see here on this other box, those little slots right down here, I ran some elastic through them. It was a little too narrow to fit the gauge elastic that I use, so I also went ahead and cut them a little bigger so that the elastic will fit through there without a problem. Okay, all that being, that's a little bit sloppy. Let's cut that a little bit more. Yes, we'll be talking about razor knife safety a little later. There we go. That's a little better. Good enough. Nobody's going to see that part anyway. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do, and this is pretty much going to be like the same process as assembly as it would be for a vintage talker. Let me get over here at the bench. And we'll start by going like this. Take our leg, hip ball. We'll get through there. And our hip. Pass the elastic through the other leg hole. Come on, get through there. I said get through there. Sorry, with this injured thumb makes things a little more difficult. All right, other hip ball. Slide the elastic through there. And inside of here, we'll just hook that over the rivet like so. And then you come around with a pair of pliers. As soon as I get the pliers on there, I will get it back in front of the camera so you can see what I'm doing. You grab hold of that like that, and then just twist it up and squeeze it shut. Maybe a little more than that. Okay, one other note on this kind of stuff: when you're dealing with repro talker or repro figures or Cotswold figures in this example, you can see how that rivet's kind of torn up. Okay, that happened when I was clipping off the old elastic eyelet. It's an aluminum rivet. You got to be careful when you're doing it, or you can break these rivets. I've had it happen. You'll see that in one of my earliest videos where I was repairing something like that after I messed it up. Okay, we'll take this all. Let's see. Stick it down in there. Grab a hold of the elastic with it. Come on, you. Okay, and slide it up over like this. If it's real tight when you do this, then you got about the right tension, again, for a vintage talker. We're going to try this amount of tension out on this modern talker guy and see how it works. Next thing to do is just take your, whoops. Just take your elastic, you stick your piece in there, your front of the torso in there, and slide it over. I'm not going to be able to do this on camera. Give me one sec. Let's see if you can see it from over here, because I got to hold it with 2 hands. Slide it inside of there like that, and you got to be able to hold it somehow. Yeah. All right, let's try that. And then slide the elastic over the center pin. And that definitely appears to be tight enough. Excellent. Okay. Now, we're going to put our body back together, and to do that, you want to go like this, pull on it a bit to get that out in the open. And put your talker back together like that. That is essentially the same as you would do it on a vintage figure. Whoops, don't get the string caught in there. Okay. That all looks pretty good. All right. And we can see here, it moves like it's supposed to. Nice and stiff. He stands good. All right. Sweet. All right. Next thing to do is I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I've shown this in other videos before, but basically what we're going to do is zoom in a little bit here for you guys. Okay, we're going to put the shoulder cup into the Cotswold shoulder, like so. One more note about this. When Cots puts these together, I'm not sure why, but as you can see, it's pretty tight. I ain't 100% sure why they come out that way. Maybe because they use shorter rivets in there. But in any event, it'll be a tight fit, but you should be able to push it in there without an issue. All right. Take a rivet. Put it through. Come on. Okay, maybe we don't need to be zoomed in that much, huh? There we go. All right. Take a hammer and you tap the rivet through. On the other side, what I will do is I'll take a screwdriver that I keep around for this purpose especially. and use that to spread the end of the rivet. All right. Hold one sec. I'll be right back. All right. Next, we'll do the same thing with the neck. We'll slide. This is a vintage neck piece or neck disc piece. I've got a million of them laying around. You stick your rivet in there. Okay, it's supposed to go in there easily. All right, we're going to tap it through a little bit with the hammer first. All right, and slide your little piece in there. Once you get the rivet through the hole in the disc, you're good to go. And then you just pound it the rest of the way through. And once again, I'm going to pause this for a sec while I get that done. Okay, and there we go. All right, to put this together the rest of the way, what we're going to do is first spread the body open a little bit. Just use your fingers and pull it apart a little. Make sure you got the right limb for the right side. You can see that there's like a double in there. You want a double like slot in there. You want the disc end to fit all the way past the inner surface, like so. And then the same for the other side. Slide that in there. And so. Oops, and don't pinch your thumb protector in there. Okay. A little bit loose on that side. Looks like we'll have to add a little something in there to make them tighter. Now for right now, we'll continue. And same thing on the top. Just open it up a little bit. And slide your piece in there like that. Push it back together. And have it. As you can see, though, they will stand up slight. They are floppy this way, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but I'll figure something out to fix that. We got a little Teflon tape or something. Whatever, for right now, we'll leave it like that. Okay, after we're done with that, we'll put his screws back in. There's one down here on the bottom. And two at the top. Okay. Now these guys run on a couple of AA batteries. Excuse me, triple A's, I think. Triple A's, excuse me. All right. I'm going to put the batteries in backwards. There we go.
Reporting for duty. Enemy fighters, 12 o'clock high. Over target. Bombs away.
Woohoo. All right, he's got a battery back plate here that goes in there like that and is held on with a screw. I'm not going to reinstall that right now. I don't want to leave them around with batteries in them. Okay. Next thing that needs to happen, got to cut this string and tie his dog tag on. I demonstrated earlier what goes wrong with these things when I first reviewed them. And for me, I think the smartest solution is just simply go ahead and tie off the dog tag real close and cut the string off up here, just leaving just enough room to tug it. So we'll do that. Yeah, right about there I think should be sufficient. We'll tie it off in just an overhand knot and test it first. We'll put P, not going to talk without batteries, is he? All right, let's stick those back in to make sure.
G.I. Joe, U.S. Air Force, reporting for duty. Enemy fighters, 12 o'clock high.
There we go. Okay. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Let's flip her around again here. All right, as I said, that's pretty much all there is to it. They're constructed in a manner that it's pretty easy to do a little substitute job like that using aftermarket, or you could use vintage parts if you wanted to. I really don't see the point in doing that, though. As far as the looseness of the arms goes, I didn't anticipate that. I'll have to get some O-rings perhaps, or maybe some Teflon tape to wrap into those joints to tighten it up a little bit. Or maybe double up the shoulder cups or something like that. Haven't decided yet. We'll figure that out later. Oh, and we'll give him this Repro head that I reflocked. This is off a Timeless, Timeless collection guy. If I remember right, it was the Black Red Rendezvous. Anyways, I popped the heads off of those and reflocked them because the flocking was so terrible. All right, now on to another thing or two. Anybody who has looked in my group recently has seen that I managed to damage myself last week. 5 stitches right across the ball of the thumb while using this dang thing. I've said it before in these videos, I'll say it again. Be careful, guys. I had to go to the emergency room. It was bleeding so bad and it was cut, so it was a deep cut. So be careful. Don't be a klutz like I was last week. Oh, man. Another thing I want to talk about just a little bit is something about the 60th anniversary of G.I. Joe. Hasbro ain't done nothing hardly. Well, we all know about the little figures that they released, which were, I don't know. Something's better than nothing, I guess. And I really used to think that, up until very recently, I really used to think that the 1/6 hobby was going to die, when guys our age are done. But you know what? I'm starting to change my mind on that a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of guys doing a lot of stuff to keep this thing going. Mainly a lot of my fellow AOA members, Robert DeCastro and Angelo DeAnnabelle, namely. And let's see who else. Jeff Scherer. There's more than a few other guys out there doing, all different kinds of customs and various stuff to try to keep this going. And you know what? I think maybe I might have been wrong about that. And I hope I was. I don't want this hobby to die. Anyhow, guys, it's Easter. I got to go up for dinner. And anyhow, it's been a pleasure as always. You guys have a great day. Have a happy Easter. Enjoy your time with your families today. Be careful. Beware of X-Acto knives. And let's all have a nice holiday and a great week at work. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Mike's Laboratory. Let's keep them all back on duty.